All right, guys, we are live. Episode 104 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for joining us here as usual. The lovely co-host Jennifer Seymour's in the house. What's going on?
Not much. Just living the dream. Went out today and did a little pistol practice.
Right on, right on. We got Dustin Plouffe in the house, and you're getting popular, Dustin. I think some people are really wanting you to be on the show more often, it seems.
Well, I thought you were calling me lovely, so I was like, dang, our
Yeah,
our relationship has just gotten, went to the next level. So,
yeah.
all right, I likes it.
Yeah, you likes it. All right, man. And then we got the man of the hour. We got a USPSA competitor. I mean, most of you guys have shot with this guy before or seen him before. He's currently running for USPSA president. As if you haven't heard, I mean, where have you been? Mike Foley's in the house.
Hey.
How's it going, Mike? Yeah, nice intro.
Yeah, Jennifer took my line, living the dream. That's my line.
Yeah, she took it from me. He did say that when he first got in here in the pre-chat. So that was Mike's line. Jennifer took it. But
So sorry.
We're gonna take some of your shooting questions here, and if you guys really want to hit your Q&A for this one, I mean, if you guys are being swayed in the voting process, you really want to see what Mike wants to talk about and what he has to offer, it's a great time to hit the Q&A app in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. That'll open up another section where you can, submit your questions to any of us here live during the show. Also, the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page, if you prefer to use Facebook, there's a post going up probably right about now where you can ask your questions in the comment section on Facebook, and we'll take those throughout the show. All right, show sponsors. We have Techwear USA. All right, check them out for your jerseys. I know it's becoming end of the shooting season's kind of approaching here. So a lot of you guys are going to be needing some new jerseys with some new sponsors added. Check them out at Techwear USA. We got Blade Tech Industries. If you're picking up a new gun this year or just need to add better holster gear, they have everything at Blade Tech. So go check out BladeTechIndustries.com and go. They support the game, so support those who support the sport. And Blade Tech's a huge component of that. All right, we talked about the Q&A section. The Shooter's Mindset app on Apple devices and Android devices. If you guys are one of those people like me who like to use their smartphone for everything, download the Shooter's Mindset app in the Apple and Android stores, and you can watch this show right after it uploads to YouTube. It'll be there. Mike's face will be boom, like right there on the Apple screen, and you can just click on his face and watch everything we talked about today, unedited. I don't do too much editing. We like to just be live, and that's it. All right. So if it screws up live. All right. So let's get this kicked off here, Mike. For those who are unfamiliar with you, tell us a little bit more about yourself and why did you decide to run for USPSA president?
Well, about me, I've been playing this game for about 15 years. In addition to other shooting games, IDPA, 3-gun, some other outlaw matches, Little Steel Challenge, and USPSA really became my sport of choice pretty quickly. In 2002, I became an RO, helped run a local match for about 9 years, worked a couple of state matches. About 10 years ago, I got picked up for the Wilson Combat Shooting Team, and I've been shooting for Wilson and for Blade Tech, one of the show sponsors, a little bit for Taryn, who's also another show sponsor. And about 8 years ago, I became the director of sales and operations for a little company, little .com that serves the shooting industry called Shooters Connection. And, it was kind of living the dream. I had 7 or 8 ways to make a living. They all involved the shooting sports in one way or another, and cruising through life. And we come up on the election cycle last year in November. By November, I'd met all of the other candidates. I'd had a chance to talk with them. A lot of them I'd known for years. Some of them I didn't know. Was squatted with the last one of them in November. And it became painfully obvious to me that some of the challenges that we had faced really needed someone with some business experience, someone who had some nonprofit experience, and someone who could lead the organization in a different direction than some of the personalities that we've had at the helm the last few years. And so in looking at it, it kind of became obvious to me that it was going to be pros versus Joes. And I didn't see any of the the Joes in the race that had enough backing and enough support and enough name recognition to beat the pros. And so I came home from that match and I thought about it 3 or 4 days, and I talked with the people around me, the people in my immediate support group, my girlfriend. We had a long talk about it. I said, I really feel like that unless someone steps forward who can win, we're going to end up with the same type of candidate that we've had the last couple of times. And I don't think that's where the organization is right now. So after I made sure it wasn't going to wreck my relationship or change anything with my employer while I ran for an office for the next year. I decided to jump in, and so I announced the day before Thanksgiving. We got our petition signed and filed by the end of the year, and got into the race. In January, we did some planning, and toward the end of January, just before the Florida Open in February, we hit this thing pretty hard, and it seems like we've talked about it somewhere every day since. One of the interesting things that happened in that time period was the board of directors, as you'll see in the January meeting minutes from last year, got together in Las Vegas, and they decided that whoever won this election as president, rather than them be encumbered to another employer, that they would change the compensation package such that you didn't have to be encumbered with other employment, so that we could get a full-time USPSA president. And as soon as they did that, I went into my employer and I sat down and we had a long talk about it. I said, they're going to make this a full-time job, and I think I'd like to do it. And so what that means is rather than reducing the amount of time I'm going to be here, if I win this election, I'm going to be out by January 1st and focusing on the goals of the organization instead of the goals here, and pledged my support to do all the transition work that we needed to do to replace me there. And so, by the end of January, this was in full swing, and I was looking forward to being a full-time USPSA president. So that's kind of how I got in the race. A little late in the game. Some candidates had been running for a couple of years at that point, or had announced, a couple of years ago. But for me, it was more or less, how can we get someone with the leadership experience necessary elected over the big names in our sport to go in there and change the culture of the business surrounding our organization.
Right on. So this was a huge decision, actually bigger than I actually realized. This was a lot of thought involved. You had your full-time job, and you told them straight up, and that if you get elected, this is, I'm gonna be at this full time, which is one of the concerns that I think has been brought up. That we wanted the president that was elected to really be in it full time and not have a bunch of gigs and then he's there, and his mind really isn't focused on the game, and you're providing full time. You're in it. You're the man. So that's a big deal. Jennifer, what do you have as far as USPSA? I know you've seen some stuff come up. Is there any concerns or anything, or any questions you have regarding the game?
I don't have any right now. Me with the USPSA, I've always said there's a lot of drama in it. That's always been my question, is how do you reduce the drama in it? Because I live in Area 6, if that tells you anything. It got to where I wanted to, just come off the Facebook page, and I thought, I'm not even going to renew my membership, because it just...
That's a big deal, man. That's pretty legitimate concern.
It's just a lot of drama on there, and it's like, really, guys?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was all about, because I just got where I tuned it out, and I think I even got the page where I don't even get that on my feed. I can't see it unless I go to the page specifically, because it just got so crazy and out of hand with all kinds of issues. I don't even want to go into it. But, how do you reduce that? How do you keep that from happening?
There's always going to be a certain amount of drama, but a lot of the drama the last few years has been well-deserved by the organization for some of the foul-ups that we've had. Seems like we've moved from one scandal to another. And the best way to subdue that kind of drama is to not have those kinds of issues by being, half-baked and by doing unprofessional things. And so if we leak everyone's password out to some spy bot, then the members have a right to be angry, and they're going to voice it on social media these days. Okay, if we have a situation where there's a disagreement on how much we should pay one of our vendors that hosts our nationals, then by all means that gets everyone's attention. And so the best way to avoid that is to be professional to begin with, to bring our issues out rather than hide them until it's too late, to discuss them in group, in community, with people who are focused on solving the problem, solve the problem, and air it all such that we don't have these secrets, and we don't have these scandals, and we don't have these things that are just looming around the corner to bite us. And so for me, that would be, making sure that we could pass a financial audit, making sure that we have a working budget earlier in the year, making sure that our employees are clear on what communications they can and can't have on official and unofficial channels, making sure that we are part of the community rather than a leadership versus members thing, because the leadership is here to serve the membership. And if you look at our demographic, the dead center of our membership is like a B-class shooter who shoots his club match and his state match, and he's an RO. Our demographic is not the top 16 shooter. It's not the guy who just joined because we don't know if we're going to have him a year from now. It's the dead center of our demographic, and that's the guy that's tired of being embarrassed by belonging to this. And rather than be embarrassed, we need to be proud of this organization. I mean, I go places I'm wearing my Nationals T-shirt. I wore this to work today, right? I really want people to ask me about this because I enjoy it and I love it, and I want to be able to tell them about it and maybe get them involved in it too. And so the best way to avoid the drama is just be more professional to start with. And we have some house cleaning to do. We have some things to fix with our organization. But they're not rocket surgery. They're things in everyday business that we do all the time, and it's laughable the amount of drama that goes into some of this because it's really simple. Just look at the data, look at what the value is to the membership, and make an informed decision.
Right on. Dustin, do you have anything that comes to mind?
I know, Jen. I know your pain of that page. I had to get on there to defend a company that I worked for a long time, and that area just seems to just draw the drama into it. But I've worked in the retail side and also into the firearms side and sales, and it seems that the social media is the new I would like to speak to your manager. It's the I'm going to just take it to the next level without any letting the company try to work it out for you. Stuff happens. I don't care if you're the smallest company or you're the top 3 biggest dude in the world. The saying shit happens. So let me try to fix that bad issue before it goes social. So God bless you on trying to fix that issue there, Mike. Now, I definitely have known, I've dabbled in USPSA, and I know a past USPSA president, Mike Voigt. He's a good dude. So kind of on his coattails, I guess not really necessarily because that was a while ago, but what are the changes that you just personally would like to imply on to kind of get things to grow and to get that B-class shooter up and going? And also, you're speaking to me. I am not a USPSA member. I've dabbled in it from time to time. I shoot IDPA almost full time, but USPSA has always been on my my horizon. I've seen it. I've looked at it. I kind of want to do it, and then 3-gun kind of twinkles over here, and like ADD walk that way. So, what are your goals? What are your top 5 goals, I guess?
Well, first off, I don't know of a tremendous amount of people who want to just do this one thing. So it's okay to shoot USPSA one weekend and IDPA another and 3-gun the next. I mean, it really is a big part of our culture that a lot of us dabble in all these sports. And so it's not an us versus them thing. I'm thinking back to SHOT Show, how I could have breakfast one morning with the IDPA leadership and then lunch with the USPSA leadership, and a lot of times, see the same faces on both sides of that fence. And so it's not really us versus them. It's all of us who like to play gun games hoping to create more awareness for our gun games and hoping to get more guys off the sofa and doing that. So one of my goals is to not try to divide us from other organizations, but rather to work within our community together. We talked about USPSA having a 3-gun that literally has become one nationals and maybe one or two other matches, and not really investing in that. Well, if you're interested in 3-gun, and I know Jennifer's interested in it, I shoot it once or twice a year, used to shoot it a lot, then there's no reason why we can't co-host tournaments with people already in that lane. Chad Adams from 3-Gun Nation, he and I grew up about 15 miles apart. We didn't know one another then, but we live in the same town now. I ran into the store the other night, and I said, isn't there some way that we could be a stop on your tour and you could be a stop on our tour, and maybe the USPSA Nationals could be something that you would want to cover on your media vehicle? And so these kinds of conversations don't occur if we have an us versus them mentality, and we're all out there pulling the trigger. We all pull from the same pool of sponsors. We all pull from the same advertising, the same print media, the same. There are people listening to this podcast right now who play multiple gun games. So we would be silly to think that we could have a monopoly on the shooters. What we want to do is make our game exciting enough to bring those people into it. And there's nothing broken about USPSA between make ready and unload and show clear. What's broken about USPSA is the fact that our technology resources are dated, some of them 20 and 30 years old. It's that our processes are a little bit antiquated, and we've only been good at one thing, and that's USPSA. Well, we also need to be good at marketing. We also need to be good at working within the industry with groups like the NSSF. We also need to be good. So we need to be good at marketing. We need to be good at networking. We need to be good at technology. We need to visit these things. And one of the issues that I see, and you talk about a top 5 goal, my goal is for our board of directors to stop having to be the working committee on every issue out there. I know all of the area directors, and those are 8 very smart guys, but there's no way that they can all be experts on 3-gun, that they can all be experts on marketing, that they can all be experts on finance, that they can all be experts on any of these things, like some of our membership is. And so one of the things that I've got as one of my primary goals is we're going to set up some committees, and we're going to have a committee on 3-gun, and we're going to have a committee on marketing, and we're going to bring people from our membership who are hungry to participate and help, who want a seat at the table to do the committee work, so that when the board gets this, they get to make an informed decision, rather than the board have 25 projects going at once and all of them being poorly managed. They will be able to hit the high points, ask the questions, make the changes, and determine a course of action for our organization. This is something that's worked well for me in another nonprofit. It's worked well for me in business. It's worked well for me, within the industry. And so I may have hit more than 5. I may have hit less than 5. But my goals are to modernize this and to reduce some of the baggage that comes with not knowing what we don't know.
No, and you definitely made a great point that unless you have been in the shooting games for a while, or you are fortunate enough to be in the industry or know people in the industry, yes, people, we're all friends. Although I give the Glock people all kinds of grief, and I give all the Smith people grief, and I shoot Springfields, we all love each other. I'm good friends with multiple shooters from multiple different companies. At the end of the day, we all squad together. At the end of the day, we all go out and have dinner together. So that's kind of the funny part. Now, obviously, yes, there are the people who butt heads, and yes, there are the companies who butt heads. I try to stay away from those, but and I'm actually liking the fact that you're open-minded to everything. And I know we've talked a few times, but that's always kind of a refreshing thing to hear. Is not that we have the best game, and I'm going to tell you why we have the best game, and you should like only my game because I like my game, but our game's great. This is how we're going to make it better, and play other games too, because that's fun as well.
I like playing more than one game. I mean, I joke that USPSA is my pistol practice because I need pistol practice, but and I don't like no shoots. But I do like that, I work every other weekend. I only have certain weekends that I can shoot. So I always look and, well, if it's USPSA or 3-gun, if there's both, I usually do 3-gun because that's kind of what I enjoy more. But if there's USPSA, then it gives me opportunity to shoot on a weekend I wouldn't have been able to shoot. And I do enjoy USPSA, just not the no shoots.
Do you enjoy is 2 deltas good for you?
No, I don't get 2 deltas. Usually in USPSA, I get Alpha Delta, Alpha Delta, Alpha Charlie, Alpha Delta, Alpha Delta.
But who is this Charlie Mike you keep calling out?
Oh, I don't call him Charlie Mike.
Yeah, why are these 2 guys always hanging around me? That's the question.
You've met Charlie Mike a lot?
Yeah, I'm like, he's not squatted with us. My name's Dustin. I'm shooting now, not Charlie Mike.
Yeah. I've had my fair share of run-ins with Charlie Mike.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, Mike, great stuff coming out so far, man. We already hit a lot of stuff in a short time we've been on the show. How do we bring in more USPSA members and new shooters in general? That guy that maybe just took a couple safety classes, owns 1 pistol, he's new to the game, kind of new to guns in general. How do we get that guy to just jump into USPSA?
Well, it's obvious to a lot of us who've been around a long time that we have this misnomer out among the gun culture that we all only shoot open. I mean, has anybody heard that? Am I the only one who hears that we only shoot open?
Wait, so you're saying you don't?
No. We actually shoot iron sights and stuff with diminished capacity. And so for me, it's pretty obvious because I've been on the range for weeks and weeks and weeks now. I've been in a different state, every weekend, and I just shot the Indiana 400 this past weekend, and the #1 division in the Indiana 400 was production, with open being second and limited third, and from there, it branches out like it always does. But what's telling about that to me is that there are more people that want to shoot iron-sighted guns that are very much like guns that they can buy off the shelf, buy a few accessories from some of our partners in the industry, come out and play the game, that really don't want to participate at the level that buying a $4,000 or $5,000 open rig and mags at $100 a pop, and so one place that I think that the numbers tell the story is how popular production is and how it's outgrowing open and limited in many markets. Now, that's not to say that you don't come in with your Glock and 5 mags and iron ear protection and Kydex and get started, and that then you see an open gun and think, oh, wow, I want to do that. To me, it's just a really good way to drag people in and say, hey, you got a Glock, you got a Springfield XD, you got a CZ of some sort. Come on, we've got a place to put you. And even though I wasn't a big proponent of the carry optics division, I think that is a positive step the way it's looking toward bringing people in who have already purchased a Glock MOS gun, MMP core, something. Maybe they've had a 19 taken to a custom guy and had a RMR put on top of it, and so I hope that also brings some people in who felt like that their gun didn't fit in our little box that we like to divide everything into, and so it's yet to be seen how that'll turn out, and I'm sure we'll talk about that at length here in a minute. But honestly, I think that also helps bridge the gap between, say, USPSA and IDPA, because we have a place for those guns, and I shoot IDPA, and I go to an IDPA match, and guys are like, yeah, I only shoot IDPA, I can't afford one of those race guns, and I'm like, dude, everybody at my club match shoots the same Glock that you're shooting. They shoot the same M&P that he's shooting. I mean, that's what we see at the club matches. And don't let, big television media tell you any different. Don't let the antiquated pictures of open shooters from the 90s on our website tell you. See, and that's another place where we've done this to ourselves. Our website sucks, and our photographs are dated, and literally we like to show people shooting open guns because somehow inside our culture we think that looks fun, and believe me, it is fun. It's like driving a Ferrari, okay? I mean, I love it, and I'm not an open shooter, but I dabble in it. I'm going to shoot the Open Nationals this year, But a lot of people don't realize that those aren't the same guns that they're going to be competing against. So one way that we get to bring more Joes and less pros in is to have guns that make sense. And single stack division, which is something that I love, I think is also a place where a guy who's got a 1911 can come play. There's not a tremendous amount of stuff that you can do to it. Everybody's going to shoot 8-round mags. Everybody's going to shoot Kydex holster, and so there's not a dramatic difference there. Revolver, while not big in numbers, and I know that that's one of the things that Anthony, you had asked if we could talk about Revolver, and certainly I'm open to that. But Revolver is also a place where a guy can buy an off-the-shelf, 627 and come get started. And so reducing that misnomer that we're all open shooters, to me, is a tremendous start. The other thing is if our marketing had a strategy to it. So far, it's been a lot of hit and miss. There's never really been a marketing plan that anybody shared with me for USPSA. There's never really been a good relationship between USPSA and NRA. There's never been a good relationship between USPSA and NSSF. These things haven't existed. So once again, I'm going to go back and I'm going to talk about marketing. I'm going to talk about networking. I'm going to talk about basically changing our image and changing our culture from within and getting us ready to add more matches and bring in more members. Do I think we'll ever be NASCAR? No, I don't. We're the gun culture, and you have to be in the gun culture to want to play our game for the most part. So there are a lot of discussions going on around the country about making us more mainstream, and I'm all for it. But understand that our gun alone may be our prohibiting factor to making us like golf or tennis. And so if we can get over that hurdle, that's great. But I don't want to make any statement that would make anyone believe that we're ashamed of shooting guns, because we're not. It's what we do, and we all love it, and we all go to work every day. We're all normal people. We're not crazy, for running around here, with our guns. There's really nothing wrong with our culture. So to me, that's important that we not put growth ahead of giving up our identity.
Right on.
Now let's not joke about it. We all know that the new carry open class is just a gateway drug into open. I mean, let's not sugar. We're gonna hit the hard topics. The hard topics on things. We're coming at you.
Right on. Well, you have a new guy question going on?
Yeah. So I know. I work as an instructor at an indoor range here in St. Louis, and we do an IDPA match, and we do like an outlaw match, which is pretty much USPSA with IDPA targets and IDPA scoring, since I don't want to buy other targets. But it's all that. And I will tell you, from the average Joe guy who literally comes in with his gear, his 3 magazines, and his belt loop, double mag pouch, and comes and shoots. They like less rules. They like that versus the IDPA. It's easier for them to compute. They like running around and hosing targets. The one thing is that, holy crap, we just shot a stage that was 36 round count, versus the 18 round count. Is that something that you've heard? Is that an issue? I mean, that's about the only issue I've ever heard with USPSA from the new guy aspect.
The round count's too high?
Yeah, the round count's too high, And one guy came in and was like, I'm going to go to a local match. Do I need to bring a case of ammo? And I was like, you're going to miss a lot? I don't know, man. Usually you can bring,
2 boxes of ammo.
See, and I like it, because I go to an IDPA match, and I'm like, I just shot 25 rounds. It's over. That's not even a box. I want to go shoot more. I like to joke that when I miss so much, it's just because I'm getting my money's worth. Or when my 3-gun stage takes 90 seconds and someone else's only takes 60, I'm just getting my money's worth, you see. So I like to shoot more.
I'm saying the guy who goes to Wally World and buys that 100-pack of Winchester white box. And it's like, this is all my ammo for the month. So that's the only thing I've ever heard from a new guy is, I'm going to go shoot a local match, just a local club match this weekend. Do I need to bring 500 rounds with me? That kind of thing. So what do you got on that?
Well, over the years, I've seen a lot of people put together a primer on USPSA on their own blog or whatever, and we've all read those and we've all seen those, and I've seen clubs that hand them out to new shooters and inviting them back. It's my opinion that we dispel that rumor simply by saying most of our club matches, even if they're 6 or 7 stages, are about 150 rounds, which is about what, you know, my local club match is. The other thing, and I'm going to speak to match directors and stage designers out there, you know, if you look at the rule book, it talks about classifiers, standards courses, short, medium, and long field courses, and what a good mix is for a tournament. Yet I see so many people trying to make their local match 180 and 200 rounds because they want it to be more exciting or more appealing. To me, the 24 and 28 and 22 round field courses test the skills just as much. And a lot of them say, well, we want to attract top shooters. And I said, look, the top shooters, you know, the top shooters at my club match or the top shooters in my state or the top shooters in my region, we're happy to shoot El Prez against each other 6 times and argue about who had the fastest time and where they got it and all that. So for me, it's another rumor we have to dispel about the round count. But, you know, 50 more rounds, if that gets into their budget, then that's a decision that they have to make. The other thing about that, whether you agree with it or not, is USPSA purchased something called Steel Challenge. And Steel Challenge on the local matches is usually about 125 rounds. They'll generally shoot 5 stages. You know, it's 25 rounds a stage, 5 rounds a string if you don't miss. You know, you might bring 127 or 128 in case you take an extra shot on that last string or whatever. But you know, that's another gateway drug, if you will, to getting people to shooting the action pistol sports, and that is bring them to Steel Challenge, where there's no running. If they want to shoot rimfire, they don't have to draw. And everyone has fun at that. I mean, so, you know, we've underutilized that at USPSA. We paid a lot of money for it, and we've really not done much with it. And the board has been approached on occasion about what the future of it's going to be, and they seem committed to getting it right, yet we don't have a Steel Challenge czar. It's my vision for Steel Challenge that if we're going to continue to own it, that we run it like a separate entity under our umbrella and give it full support. And so I'd like to start with a committee on Steel Challenge, and I would love if we could take a look at what we're paying some of our full and part-time salaried positions at USPSA, reallocate that money to where it makes sense. Perhaps for a year or two we budget in a Steel Challenge czar, and we let someone run at this thing full-time and see what it can be. If it works out, that's great. If it doesn't, then we need to be able to make adult decisions based on that information too.
Mike, you do know somebody is going to edit this and have a smear campaign saying that you're for gateway drugs and you're for communism, right?
Clearly.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the committee for blah, 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 blah.
Is it going to go on the Area 6 page?
Yeah, Area 6. Brought to you by the committee for Area 6.
Yeah.
Duty Project Facebook page.
Picking on Area 6. Maybe they're all like that. It just seemed like there was a lot of... As a new... You know, when I was brand new to USPSA and then seeing all that, it's like, you don't know who to believe. All this stuff was being said, and I was like, oh my God, what have I gotten into?
Well, oh, look at that. I got banned from Area 6 Facebook page. No.
I'm from Area 5, but I've been shooting in Area 6 for 15 years. And I can tell you that the best way to avoid the rumors and the all of the smears and all of that stuff in Area 6 is to go down there on the range and play the game. Don't worry so much about what you read on the internet, because I've shot nearly every state in Area 6 and maybe 1 or 2 that I haven't made it to. But you know, I shoot in Georgia, I shoot in Florida, I shoot in Tennessee all the time, and I don't hear any of that same stuff going on there that I see on the internet. And so that's
same here. None of that's at the range. I mean, it's great at the range. Nicest people you've ever met. And, you know, I do, and that's part of what drew me to competitive shooting. I started with USPSA, and the people are what drew me to it. Just wonderful people that would be like, here, you don't have that? Here, borrow my gun. Here's 20 rounds of ammo because you don't know how to plan and ran out. Not saying I ever did that.
Charlie, Mike, no shoot.
Yeah.
Charlie, Mike, no shoot. That's when you know your match is near over. Yeah.
But it's the first stage.
Stage 1. All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. A good conversation here. We hit a lot. Make sure you guys get your Q&A in the Q&A section. Part of the show has kind of been lacking. I'm surprised. So if you guys have any questions here for Mike, make sure you put them in there or over on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page. I don't want to close it out because when I close it out, then they all appear. So I got it open. All right, but let's jump into a little bit of Discount Corner here. We'll take a break and then pile back on the questions on Mike. All right, so Discount Corner. I'll start it off today. Same old Discount Corner. We got from tacticallife.net. TSM10. If you're looking for some great apparel, some great accessories for your guns, check out tacticallife.net. That's TSM10. Saves you 10% off T-shirts, grips, and stickers over on the website. If you're one of those guys who are short on ammo like I am, Fort Mill Munitions, teamfmm.com saves you TSM5. It saves you 5% off all the handgun ammunition they have over there, which is 940, 45, 380. They're not carrying any rifle stuff currently. Dewey Rods. Everybody needs a quality cleaning kit for your firearms. That's DeweyRods.com. That's Cruise Rod 10. Saves you 10%. That's CRUZ Rod 10. Saves you 10% off anything on their website. They also have AR parts. You know, a lot of general stuff over there. So go check it out. What do we have? Dustin, you have anything? Discount Corner? I know, Jen, you have the Samson one. You're good on Discount Corner, Dustin?
Is Dustin good?
Yeah, same old good stuff. Just hit me up and I'll get you good.
Just send him an email.
I'm like Santa Claus. You just tell me, I'll just make it happen.
Yeah. I need one of those X Products drums. I need 50% off.
So I've been wanting this 2011, Dustin. You going to make it happen?
I do know a few gentlemen that can make some very, very awesome 2011s.
At a Dustin discount rate.
Yeah.
You just gotta have their my picture milled into the side of your gun or something. Yeah. Ryan, can you do that?
Ooh.
That'd be awesome.
That would be scary.
All right, we got Samson, we got Terran Tactical Innovations, TSM10. Everybody needs something from Terran Tactical Innovations eventually. Either you already need it or you're going to need it. So just go there, TerranTacticalInnovations.com. TSM10 saves you 10% off anything. If you want a Benelli M2 all tricked out, if you want a Glock all tricked out, if you just need some base pads, that'll save you on that. So TSM10. Tactical, we were kind of upset that in carry optics that you can't use a mount because Tactical has a universal pistol mount that'll fit on any gun with a rail, 1911 Glock, MMP, so you didn't really have to run out and mill your slide or buy another pistol. But they have universal mounts over at umtactical.com. That's TSM10, saves you 10% off there. They have apparel. They have a compensator coming out for a rifle that's going to be smoking, fully adjustable. Stay tuned for that. And then we have the Samson one. You want to hit the Samson one, Jennifer?
Samson Manufacturing, you can get 10% off their website, and it's Samson MF. Is it /MFG?
No, it's -MFG.
Yeah.
-MFG Pro.
Yeah, -MFG.com, and they have awesome mounts. Get their DMR mount; it's wonderful. Scope mount, along with rails and all kinds of other things you might want.
And tell them I want to talk to Samson.
Yep, there you go. I think that'll do it. Mike, you got anything on your end? Shooters Connection, maybe off the top of your head, anything?
ShootersConnection.com. They have something that you need and don't even know it yet.
Yeah,
shut up and take my money.
That's the problem with those websites. I'll be like, oh, let me just scroll through. Oh, I need that. Wow, they make those? And then I have to buy stuff.
Why is my information already auto-filled? That's weird.
Yeah. Right. Check out ShootersConnection.com. Also check out Wilson Combat if you're looking for any parts and accessories for your 1911 M9s. They're really venturing off now. Before it was just Wilson Combat, they just make really, really nice 1911s, but now they got a lot of stuff going on over there. ARs, shotguns, you name it. So it's a real
BJ just used his little 92 to do some crazy stuff, and that little hobbit can run around and do things, so you can too.
All right. Let's talk a little bit of Wilson Combat, and then we'll get back to some USPSA stuff. Like you said, you shot for Wilson Combat for a very long time now. What can be said about the quality in 1911 single stack? I mean, I think we all want one. It's about saving the money to get one. What is your take on this, Mike?
Well, I remember many, many years ago, before I played the game and before I was sponsored by Wilson, I would look at gun magazines, and I would see Wilson combat pistols in there. And to me, there was nothing like that. I thought I'll never be able to afford that for the rest of my life. And then things change, and you grow up, and your job changes, and the next thing you know, you're looking at a Wilson combat. Fortunately for me, I get a couple of new ones every 3 years, and there is nothing else like it on the planet as far as parts content, as far as fit and finish, as far as accuracy. And the really awesome thing about it is those are all American-made guns, made in Arkansas by American craftsmen. I talked to a guy today who's working on a new pistol build for me down at Wilson, and he's been there for 30 years. His son works there, and he's working on those awesome Berettas that we're talking about. And so it's a little-known fact that in Berryville, Arkansas, you have 3 custom 1911 manufacturers, and they have this tremendous pool of talent, guys who've been building them for 25 and 30 years. And if you ever look at a Wilson combat pistol, its fit and finish and aesthetics are second to nobody's, yet they function, and they function right out of the gate. And so for me, to represent such a brand has been an honor. It's been humbling over the years to represent a product that I know, if you can afford it, that you will be happy with it. And so, every other 1911 out there wants to grow up to be a Wilson, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right on. But I would say I think they always offer some high quality 1911s. I mean, I pulled the trigger on a couple, never had the pleasure to shoot one. But maybe make it more. I don't know if they offer. I haven't checked their website recently, but more of the guy on a budget, not going like below 1,000 or anything crazy like that. But we're talking more of an affordable line. I don't know if they have it, Mike. Are you aware of anything, or are they going in that direction?
Wilson pistols today start retail at $29.95. That's $3,000. I think that's one of the reasons the Beretta line has been so popular, and at Shooters Connection we've sold hundreds of the Wilson 92 Brigadier Beretta, and it's because you can own Wilson quality and Wilson ingenuity for $1,200. And so if you're looking for a custom production pistol, that's a really solid partnership between Wilson and Beretta, and it's a very impressive gun. As for the 1911, if you have 2 of just about any other brand, you can probably sell them and buy a Wilson.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've grown up. I used to do that a lot. Sell guns to buy a gun. I've grown up to not want to sell any guns and just save to buy the gun. But that's just me. Some people would rather sell all their guns and just get a Wilson, and that's not a bad move. But yeah, so I mean, it seems like everybody in the world is making a 1911. Every major manufacturer pretty much makes one now. But Wilson guarantees almost an accuracy out of all their guns. Are you aware of how accurate those guns are from a bench?
Actually, a human test fires those things just resting the front of the pistol, and every gun comes with a test target, and I'm yet to see a test target that wasn't 5 shots through one hole. So they test those guns at 15 yards. I'll tell you that I often shoot mine at 25 and even occasionally print them at 50, and they're phenomenal. We all talk about perfect doubles. We're talking earlier, Charlie Mike no shoot or Alpha Mike. Well, literally sometimes, especially at close ranges, it's hard to not put 2 rounds on top of one another with one of those pistols. If you do the same thing both times, the round's going to go through that same hole, and a Wilson gun is notorious for it.
Maybe that's what my mics are. I really had 2 in the same hole.
They're all perfect doubles.
They're perfect doubles.
Speakerphone. Just get you on speakerphone every time. I'm like, actually, sir, one moment. Like, tell me what that thing you said the one time.
Yeah.
It's a perfect double.
Yeah.
Like,
Mike, the president. All right. If he won, you know what I mean. He said that's a perfect double. All right. You're gonna argue with him?
I got it on video. And video. Every RO wants to hear it. I got that on video.
Yeah. Right.
I'm pretty sure our ROs and range masters right now are trying to figure out how to put the hammer on me for that one, and I'll never get a perfect double call again after this podcast airs. But
Yeah.
Actually, I got to play with one of those 92s from the queen of IDPA, Miss Joyce Wilson, and last year at Nationals, she had a Wilson combat jacket on, and it had a Beretta patch on the side, and I was like, "What's that thing do?" And she's like, oh yeah, we're going to be doing these next year. I'm like, hang on, let me see what this thing. And I will put this out there. I've never been a huge DASA fan across the board. There's a few select guns that I have picked up and shot and be like, this is pretty awesome. And the Wilson Combat 92 shenanigans was pretty nice. I will put that on there.
Right on. Yeah, the quality. Even though the M9 has always been a quality gun, they're just taking it a step up. All right. Okay, so we talked a little bit earlier on about carry optics or production optics, or I know there was a lot of opinions. This was brought up plenty of times. There's a guy that shoots locally with me. He always shot with an optic on top before it was even a division, on the local scene, and he was a big proponent for this division. I've heard a lot of people say, they didn't want it, they didn't think it belonged. I mean, has your opinion changed before before they announced it as a division? What was your opinion of it, and has it changed since becoming an actual division?
My opinion has been all along, there's enough people talking about it, enough people asking for it, why not try it? I was in the why not camp. It wasn't something that I really wanted. It wasn't something that I was against. And as I talked to people on the campaign trail, they would fall into one of two groups, and that is, when are we going to have production optics, as they would call it? Or the other group would say, you're not for production optics, are you? And I would talk to those shooters, and I would say, well, can you tell me why you're against it? Because, I mean, you're an open shooter already, so how's it going to affect you? Or you're a production shooter, or you're a single stack shooter. Well, dilution. And I'm like, okay, I've heard this dilution argument for years. I heard it when I first started. And I don't understand who the dilution adversely affects, especially at our local matches, our level 1s and our level 2s. If you show up as the person who's going to win high overall at the match, and you win, what does it matter what everybody else shot? And if you're the guy who's just starting out and you're struggling and trying to find your way with your own gun, what does it matter what someone else shoots? And so it's my opinion that why not try it and let's see. And if there's enough interest, it'll be a thing, and if there's not, it won't. After having that discussion and changing a few people's thinking on it, it occurred to me that as soon as this thing becomes a division, most of us are going to run out and buy 2 pistols for it. I mean, I have 2 guns for every other division of every other shooting game, so why not pick up a couple of carry optics guns? And so I think that the membership asked for it, and a lot of people say, well, how many of the membership asked for it? And you can't really put a quantitative number on that, because at USPSA we're also bad at measuring things. We don't have the forethought to set up a mechanism for measuring them. So we don't really know, and we never survey our membership, so we don't get to see out of 24,000 members, 12,000 who are actually shooting this year, how many of those people would say yes or no, or I don't care, to a new division or to some of the existing divisions. And so the membership asked for it. The board passed on it once. There was so much chatter about it that they visited a second time, and they decided to try carry optics. Now, I think personally, from all the people that I've talked to before and after and everything I've read on the internet, that the membership wanted production, add an optic. What they got was production, add an optic, but a weight limit. And obviously that separates out some of the manufacturers who would like to have played in this game, and it somewhat protects others who may feel a little pressure from the heavier guns. And I think that whether it's done between now and January or not, it's my intent that we have a serious talk about this division, and we decide what our membership wants. And if our membership wants CZs and Tanfos and other production guns to be able to play, then that's what they should have. If they really do want a weight limit, then they should have that. But to just have 8 people in a room bounce this concept around and try to morph it into something to solve more than one issue at a time without regard for what the membership would really want didn't seem the proper course for me. And I know that I'm going to catch a lot of flack from the guys on the board for that. You know, the 8 guys who are going to decide what my salary is going to be next year if I win this election. But the truth of the matter is I'm really trying to do them a solid here, and that is, let's give them information which to act on so they don't have to guess or so they don't have to use their own opinion. Because you could say to me, Mike, what do you think about production optics? And if I hated it, I would say, I personally don't like it. However, if the membership want it, then I'm going to go to great lengths to make sure they can have what they want, because I'm one member out of 24,853. I'm not being elected king here. So it's not that my opinions really matter that much to how I look to lead USPSA into the future.
Yeah, well said. We got a couple live ones on Facebook. Jen, you want to hit those?
Yeah, first off, we had some people that were asking what are Charlie's and Mike's, and everybody that watches the show does not necessarily shoot USPSA. Like, I'm lost when y'all talk about IDPA because I don't know all the rules and the divisions and everything else. So Charlie and Mike. Okay, a Mike is a miss. And then in scoring, there's an A zone and a C zone and a D zone, and they're called Alpha, Charlie, and Delta. So when they're calling out the scores, just lack of confusion, they'll say them. So we just call them a Charlie is not a great hit. That's not an A zone hit. And a Mike is a miss. So if you're getting Charlie Mikes, it's not a good day. But that's what that is for the person that wanted to know what those are. And then Tony Paul wanted to know, he said, bypassing all the politics, he had a quick question for us. What is our preferred handgun and division if we were going to go shoot a match tomorrow? So, Mike, you want to hit that first?
Sure. I started out in this game as a limited shooter, but I'm definitely a single stack guy, and if I had to choose a division tomorrow, I'm going to shoot single stack. It's the most familiar thing for me. That said, I've shot every Nationals this year, and by the year's end, I will have shot every handgun Nationals we have. So I'm going to say single stack, but there's more than single stack.
Right. I'm going to go Glock 34 production. It's just what I have set up. It's what I'm used to, kind of like Mike said, and I think the production division adds an extra level of challenge. But I do like limited, and I'm sure if I got my hands on an open gun, it'll be a whole nother addiction.
Dustin?
Yeah, I've shot open class guns of buddies, and they are like the Ferraris, and you got to immediately like put them down because you're like, how fast can I run? And who else has guns that can hit me? If that was the thing, I would probably shoot that. When I have shot USPSA, I've either shot production or limited 10, L10. So I do like the limited aspect of the gun, where it's just load up your gun. You got a 140 size mag. Load that bad boy up so I can carry with my Terran base pad on it 23 rounds. That's a good host fest. That's good times. And then yes, for our 3-gunners out there, that's easy. That's your 3-gun setup. You got a 5.25 XDM. You got a 34 Glock. You got a Smith & Wesson Pro Series. Those are all going to be your long slide guns. You threw some kind of magwell on it, and you got a magazine. Holds a lot, and then you threw a base pad on it. That's your go-to. I mean, that's your easy money. So limited is pretty cool. L10, if you are that major IDPA shooter, my first 3 years of shooting, I shot literally everything. So I shot L10 like the first 2 years of shooting, and that was just literally to keep my brain from exploding on the round count and where my reloads were. And so I guess that was a very political answer. I think I said every division. I'm just gonna...
Yeah, we just asked for one division, dude.
Yeah, just one. I like limited because I'm lazy and I don't like to reload. I like to have a lot in my gun, and I shoot a Glock 17 long.
Right on. There we go. Thanks for the question there, Tony. I know, Dustin, you had one yourself, right?
Where does the XDS division come in? No, not going to happen. Okay, got it. All right, moving on.
I'm not for it.
Hey, I almost had to shoot it in the CCP class, which is a whole other game. But all right, so coming from something else that makes your head explode, for me, because I'm a simple creature, is there anything to help out the new guy, and since we talk about scoring zones, on the math that is involved with the scoring for USPSA? 3-gun, we go 2 on paper, steel falls, checkbox. IDPA, I go like this, and I go like this, and I go like that, and it's magic. So, is there anything that can help us out with figuring out?
Hit factor scoring, the best way to think of that is points per second. How many points can I score in a second? That's literally what it is. And yes, it takes some math, but I can tell you, after a while, you get the hang of it, and you ask, better shooters, and they will tell you if you should rely on speed or on points for a particular stage. And that's a calculation that I do on some stages. I don't do it on every stage. But if I see someone shoot a 13 hit factor in front of me, I know that as long as I don't miss, speed's way more important than points. If I see someone shoot a 4 hit factor in front of me and they're a talented shooter, I know that that's very points intensive. But it's points per second. That's really the easiest way to explain it.
There's an app for that, guys. I'm pretty sure there's an app for that. You know what I mean? No, the pen and pad days are kind of over. Just download the app, man, and plug it all in. Something like that.
And what we all do is, we figure out who that good shooter is in the squad, and then pick their brain. Or, when you're squadding with that guy who's just a freaking calculator, and you're like, so what are you doing there? Where are you gonna reload? And then you just literally just walk behind him, do this.
Yep.
I'm just gonna reload right here. Because that's what so and so said to do. Got it.
Yeah. Just copy his stage walkthrough.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't mind giving you a 10-round plan while I work an 8-round plan. It really isn't that much of a distraction, does it?
Yeah. You're not gonna throw him off his game. Yeah, make sure the guy that you're walking around is not an open division or 8-round, single stack division. That's not gonna help you much. All right, Mike. Any upcoming matches, events, or projects you got coming up?
Yes, as a matter of fact, this weekend I'll be at the Illinois Section Championship in Havana, Illinois. If you're there, chat me up. Come see me. Try not to wait till I'm standing in the box loading my gun, but anytime while we're pasting, anytime while we're standing around waiting for the awards, or anytime while we're just doping stages or whatever, introduce yourself. Tell me what's on your mind. I'm very approachable. After that, I'm going to be focused on getting ready for the Open and Limited Nationals at Universal Shooting Academy in Frostproof, Florida, and I'd really like to meet you there. I'll be there literally from Saturday to Saturday. I'll be there the entire time. I'm shooting both matches. Would love to talk with you. Just hit me up down there. After that, the Kentucky section back here at home. The Kentucky State Handgun Championship. That's the first Kentucky State Handgun Championship that we've had in 9 years, which was really good for me because I won limited in 2006, and I got to be a 9-year state champion out of one match performance. So I didn't have to win it every year. That's awesome. So I'm going to try to shoot limited at that just to defend my title. I feel like it's the only fair thing to do. Plus, a lot of the guys who were able to beat me in 2006 are dead. And so I'm hoping maybe that the kids won't be able to catch me there. There's other matches on the schedule, and I try to post them on my Facebook page, Mike Foley for USPSA President. I really try to let people know where I'm going to be, so that if you want to talk to me, that you just come find me and we'll sit down, or we'll paste a target and talk about it.
No, I'm going to be like, all right, shoot at UMC 45. Okay, go ahead. I'm like, what do you feel about no shoots? Less? More? As of right now, I don't like them.
Whoop. Just turn that off.
Yeah. Hang on, feller. Click.
All lives matter.
That's right. Except no shoots, right? No shoots. They don't matter, do they?
They do not.
They do not. Quickly, let's switch it up to a little Revolver here. We asked this question to a couple guests in the past. So why aren't more competitors shooting Revolver division? Both in USPSA and IDPA, Revolvers seem to be a dying division. Do you feel it's too challenging to master a Revolver, or is it just not fun to shoot?
Well, anybody that thinks it's not fun to shoot, I would welcome you to try it. If you've tried it and you say that, fair enough. If you haven't tried it, then you're really talking out of school there. It's interesting because I don't know statistically, as I sit here on this podcast, if Revolver is up or down. I do know that I shot the Revolver Nationals this year. There were 140 competitors roughly. The match was full. Everybody there was having fun. Sometimes it's hard to man up and do manly things and shoot, double action only triggers all day. I get it. If the burden of manhood is too tough, there's always open, and it's really no problem there. I'm teasing about that, but honestly, I would have to see in hard numbers whether our Revolver activities are up or down to even embrace the assumption that it's a dying division. It's like single stack to me in a lot of ways, and that is it's a heritage division. It's a traditional division. So it doesn't bother me if we have a match and we have 400 competitors and 12 guys want to shoot revolvers. They've already decided they're going to be different. They usually shoot their game. They usually compare themselves to one another. They usually work very hard on a squad. And literally, like I said, if you're going to win the whole match, you're going to be like, the top open guy or whatever. What does it matter to you? And the Revolver guys really are a huge part of our sport. And I know that ICOR is modeling itself now after USPSA in that they're going to allow the 8-round guns to compete in their version of the limited revolver division. And there's some ICOR startup clubs going on. And so there are other places to play revolver games. I get that IDPA has had a shift in they're putting all revolvers in the same division now with a subcategory, and a lot of people are disappointed that USPSA decided to go 8-round minor and 6-round major, and it's hard to be competitive with a 625, and you hear about that. But it looks to me like the revolver crowd is about where it's always been, and that it doesn't detract from the game to continue to let those guys play. And I literally have picked my revolver up twice in the last 2 years, both times for a nationals. But it's not different enough to me to where it's not fun. So it's not everybody's thing, but is it on the decline? I don't know. Have you seen any actual statistics to indicate that, or is that just internet chatter?
I think it's more internet chatter, and from what I've seen at matches, I haven't looked up any stats.
They're like unicorns. Every once in a while you see one, you're just like, hey, look at that guy. That's cool. Or you'll have one guy in your squad, and he's that different guy. I mean, that's all. And trust me, switching divisions for me, from shooting divisions where I'm like 11 plus 1, 10 and 10, 10. All right, and just mapping it out. 8 plus 1 and 8. Worth it. I got to reload multiple times. So I salute you for shooting the revolvers. That's something I can't even count to. So
let me ask a rhetorical question of everybody who listens to the podcast now and in advance, or in the future. If a really solid guy shows up and shoots your local match, your state match, your area match, whatever, with a revolver, what does it hurt? Who does it offend? Who does it bother? Who does it tax? Who does it delay? And I think if you'll think about that, revolver is a victimless crime, yet a lot of people want to put it on a chopping block. And to that I say, would you rather have that guy's $100 and something bucks in the prize fund or not? Would you rather have that guy to help pace targets or not? And I personally would rather have that guy there.
Yeah, I think revolvers should still have their own class and division. So I think that should be there for evers.
Yeah, last match I was at, there was a guy that I would see traditionally shooting revolver, and he was shooting an M&P, and I was like, man, what happened to the revolver? He's like, man, I couldn't. He says he doesn't shoot classifiers well, but that the revolver made him a better shooter. So now that he's picked up an M&P, now the dude's like crushing it on the local scene in the state match and stuff like that. So he's like, I mean, if you can take any advice from me, he's like, try shooting a revolver, get past all the naysay that people are saying about it, and just shoot it. And I'm telling you, it made me a lot better of a shooter. And I'm like, I thought that was pretty interesting. And I always thought a revolver was the art of a handgun. Like if I was to collect handguns, it'll be a safe full of revolver. I just think they're the best looking guns out there. So I mean, just don't know a lot of people who shoot them, so I was just going off of match, so no real statistics. So
I think it makes it better because obviously you got that long trigger pull. You need to work on your trigger control, but you can't miss because that sucks. Even in your single stacks, your CCP now, you can't miss because that's going to cost you another reload, which is going to cost you however fast you are. If you're a quarter-second reloader, a half-a-second reloader, whatever it is, you're going to. It's that. When you see a revolver shooter tank it, it's like watching a train wreck, literally, because you're like, oh no, he's got 3 more reloads now. That's rough. Or when their hammer doesn't fall, they're just going click, 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 bang. You're like, oh man, that's rough. But
yeah, you gotta learn somewhere though.
Those guys are not missing though. Their hits are on paper.
They can shoot 30-yard plate racks, all of them.
Yeah.
So I think the lesson there is Revolver. Give it 6 months and it'll change your life.
I mean, look at that rookie. His name is Jerry Mitchellak. I don't know. He's some kind of Cajun dude. He's okay.
Yeah. Right on. I got one more, and then we can kind of hit any live ones that we have left, and then we can wrap it up here. But what do you think are some ways that not only USPSA but shooting sports in general can become more mainstream? I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, and it seems to be, we don't want to sacrifice anything, but I think the gun itself is bringing it down. You want to add to anything? Want to add to that?
I literally think that there's room for growth. I do not think that explosive growth would necessarily be manageable or good for our organization the way it stands. And so I'm all for growing our sport. But if we have to sacrifice the fact that we're running around shooting guns in a sport that's origin lies in combat matches, then I don't see making that connection. And I've heard the argument that if we changed our targets to happy faces and we only shot happy faces, oh no, those are people's faces, so let's shoot pizza boxes. Let's only shoot pizza boxes.
Just gun hands.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do we draw that line? Where do we give up the fact that we are running around with pistols? We're running around with handguns. We're running around with tools that are designed to be used in combat. And our origin was combat matches prior to 1976 being organized at the Columbia Conference. And that whether we have competitors who are only focused on competition or some who also carry a gun in real life, that we're shooting guns. And you hear a lot of bad press about guns, but I'm going to tell you, I don't meet anyone on the range that I don't instantly feel connected to, that I don't instantly feel like that this is a solid human, this is a like-minded individual. I mean, for the first 10 years or so, I left my truck unlocked, tens of thousands of dollars worth of shooting gear in it, and I never locked the door on my truck. How many of those people have given me equipment, or I've given them equipment to finish the match? How many of those people have become my lifelong friends? And so to anyone who doesn't understand the gun games, they're a way of life. We're not a destination sport. We're not like zip lining. We're not like a public golf course. We're not like the pool. We're not a place where you pay and you do the activity one time and then you don't come back for a year and you do it again. That's really not who we attract. We're a way of life sport, and to get really good at it, it takes a commitment even further than that. And so to become more mainstream is great, but to become totally mainstream, I'm not sure that I'm the guy for that, because totally mainstream, to make us like NASCAR would mean to make our guns accepted just the way cars are accepted, and I'd be okay with that. If somebody can tell me how we can overcome that hurdle, that's great. Otherwise, I'm for growing within the people who have already accepted, or the people who are going to come to accept that shooting guns are okay and people who shoot guns are okay. And the right to own those guns is pretty paramount to me. It's an important right to me. And so that's where I come from on that question. And so it's not that I'm anti-growth. It's just that when we talk about mainstream, we have to be somewhat realistic in how mainstream we can get while shooting handguns. And I would hope that sometime within my lifetime or my son's lifetime, that guns would become more universally accepted. But if you look at mainstream media, they're doing a pretty good job of trying to make them become less accepted. And if not for the lobbyist dollars that a lot of us pay to the NRA, we really wouldn't have the right to enjoy the things that we enjoy. And so I'm on a soapbox here. I'm you know, there's probably going to start playing the Star Spangled Banner in the background, but I really do mean that. And so we're a lifestyle sport, and I don't know how to take a lifestyle sport and make an end destination out of it, nor do I think that our membership really wants it to be an end destination. I mean, I'm signing up for matches now that are going to occur next year. Okay, has anybody else done that? I mean, you know, and then
yeah, I know some.
Yeah, and then you go to a local match and it's got 100 shooters and you're there until dark. And so to me, the best way to grow this sport is to add more points of entry, more matches at every level, more access, more partnerships. And so to become more mainstream would be to make what we're already doing larger without sacrificing who we are.
Right on. Well said, Mike. We got a couple questions, and then we're going to wrap this one up. We'll take one from Jen, and then we'll hit Dustin, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, Tony Paul wanted to know, for each of us to name one personal goal, a shooting goal, that we've set for our shooting skills or matches in 2016. That's a hard one.
Personal goals?
Personal shooting goals, yes.
Yeah, that's tough. Dustin, you want to start that one off?
Yeah.
Let's fly through this one.
Don't suck.
I was about to say suck less. That was going to be mine.
All right.
I know for me, I've had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, so life before shooting right now, which is kind of crazy, but I'm looking forward to SHOT Show and NRA Show to lock in some good deals going on that I have right now with some great friends and companies. So hopefully I'm going to get back on track with my shooting career. And yes, I have somewhere my calendar that I'm filling in my matches for next year. So trying to do that, I guess, and get back on the grind.
Anthony?
Yes. No. I guess, yeah, suck less is an important one. Just get out there and shoot more ammo, because it seems like I don't get to the range a lot often due to practice. I'll be at a lot of matches, but then you see it in the results. It's like all the guys that I've helped get into or they started after me are just like, zzz, they're like just beating me in the results. I'm like, dude, you were like a D class, novice when like 2 months ago. How are you already at the level of me and beating me? So I think more practice for me, more real live fire and dry fire practice is a must. It's like, and losing 10 pounds, which is always like the yearly goal.
Mike?
I often get made fun of because I've been shooting without shooting goals and without much practice for a long time, yet I still somehow managed to do okay. As a pro shooter who was trying to encourage me to practice recently said. But, I'm inspired by something that happened yesterday, and that is yesterday's update. My friend Corey Estel, who some of you know, became the third person ever in the history of USPSA to be a 6-division Grandmaster. Open was his last frontier, and he made it after only shooting it for about 4 months. And so behind Johnny Brister and Rob Latham, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Rob Latham, behind Johnny and Rob, Corey is only the third person ever to do that. And when asked if he was going to do it and carry optics and be the first 7-division guy, I had to inform him that Rob's already ahead of him. He's been posting pictures of his gun on the internet, his XD with a dot on it. So I'm inspired by that. I don't currently have a GM card. I'm master in 4 or 5 divisions. And so for me next year, I would really like to try to make GM in something. And I don't really care what it is. It could be Revolver, it could be production, it could be single stack, limited open, whatever division it is. And so that's a goal that I'm going to set, and then I'm going to have to find out how to work my way up to that goal. What about you, Jennifer? Do you have one?
Well, other than to dry fire more, I am really working right now more on getting technical and really thinking about the shooting cycle and the shooting process and trying to break things down so I can improve on that. So that's kind of my current goal. And then next year, I'm going to SHOT Show for the first time ever. So that is my goal right now. So I'm very excited.
All right, guys. We talked a lot about a lot of great stuff here, Mike. So where are we at with the USPSA election? I believe it's down to 2 of you guys.
So, it is. It's me and my good friend Manny Bragg, and you know, it's one of the things that I'd like to since I'm going to get just another quick moment to stump here, I'd like to say this. I applaud Paul Hyland, Jack Suber, Manny Bragg for throwing their name in and for giving up a year plus of their life to this endeavor, and it shows a commitment to the sport that very few other people have made. And so whether you're out of the race like Jack and Paul are, or whether you're still in the race like Manny is with me, I just want to say thanks to all of you. The exchange this year's been very spirited. It's been really great. I've developed some friendships with the candidates I didn't know. Manny and I have known each other for years, and so it's down to me and Manny. And to that I say this: please get out and vote. I don't care if you vote for me. I want you to vote. I want you to make an informed decision and vote. And you can read all about me. You can read all about Manny on the USPSA website, uspsa.org. It's on the front page, a link to the candidates. You can read about me at Mike Foley for USPSA President on Facebook or uspsapresident.com. I think there's a little info left there on a website that we did early in the year. And then, so get informed and vote. Now let's talk about that process for a minute, because this is super important. On October the 7th, the USPSA staff will provide the list of eligible voters to the election firm. We use an independent election firm so that it's auditable and so that it's fair and so that there's no hint of impropriety ever during our election cycle. By the 15th of October, that election firm will mail you a new code, which you can log in and vote online. If you don't want to vote online, you can fill out the ballot, mail it back in, but 80% of our voters voted online in the primary, as we're calling it now. So please vote. You'll get your ballot in October. They're going to accept votes online and by paper all the way to December 1st. And then sometime during that first or second week of December, we'll know who won. I would ask humbly that you select me, that you look at my bio, that you contact me through one of those methods. There's contact information for me on both of those pages I shared. I'd really like to hear from you. I'd really like for you to talk to me at matches. I'm one of you, and I really just want to go to work every day to make our organization better. And I want to make our organization function such that it has a structure and a plan that transcends the personalities in the room, because we're going to continue to change directors, and we're going to continue to change presidents, and we're going to continue to see employees come and go. And what I would like for us to do is have our organization in such a great shape that the handoff is easy and that the simple stuff gets taken care of. And so that's putting in review protocols, that's taking a serious look at what we have, inviting some audits and some introspect into what we're doing. But just remember that the game isn't broken. So regardless of what you read on the internet, people are still shooting guns and having fun. So please get out there and vote. It's really your organization, and you can shape the future of it by making that happen.
All right, we're gonna put for those of you guys who catch this show that are watching it tomorrow or later on in the night or months down the line. Hopefully it's earlier than that, so you guys can make sure you vote and look into what candidates seem to can sway your vote. Information down in the description box below this video, his Facebook page, the USPSA website, and a lot of important things that he's talked about. So you can, if you want to read research further into this, you can do so by checking the description box below this video. Mike, man, it was a great time talking. I want to thank you for coming on, spending 2 hours of your night with us here.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
I look forward to seeing you at in an Area 6 match probably real soon. Jennifer, you want to start it off with the shout-outs?
Sure. I've got Load Up Ammunition, Savannah River Armory, Shooters of Augusta, and Sharpshooters of Augusta. Lucas Oil for all of your oil needs. Sampson Manufacturing, TacticalLife.net, ESS. I think that's it.
Any discount for Crisco gun lubrication?
No.
No? Oh, all right. Dustin, code it.
Hey, I just thought about this too. So we are like a major news network because right now I guess it has been going on, but the Republican debates have been going on. So we're just the shooting, Fox News or CNN or whatever. Let's look at that. Coincidence? Yeah. I don't think so. It's all Illuminati conspiracy theory.
But nobody's giving out each other's personal cell phone numbers.
We could. Do you know Jesse Tisha? No. Chad France to send him all nudie pics. All right. All right. On my shoutouts, I got Springfield Armory, as always, the Springfield Armory custom shop as well. CompTech holsters, GB2 Tactical, who can mill my face inside of your 2011 Sweet gun, Jen. Dissident Arms for all your communist needs. Black Bullet International, BBI bullets for awesome bullets. Black Nitride the World, because black nitride matters. RCA, Rubber City Armory, Pro Ears, X Products, Shooter Ready USA, Red Roof Inn, Greg Skaz Photography. Go there for all of your awesome needs. S3F and Tula. And make sure you hit me up on all the social medias if you guys need something.
Right, yeah, right on there. For those who asked about giveaways, I know we do have a lot of giveaways. We haven't been doing them every show like we used to for about 98 shows or something in a row. Yeah. But we do have a 3-Gun Nation. Last episode 103, we have a giveaway going with 3-Gun Nation. So there will be a link in the comment section below this video. It ends tomorrow at midnight. That's Eastern time. So you get a free match entry to a regional next year. You get swag and you get a membership from them. So if you haven't got in there, if you're a new 3-gunner, if you're a seasoned 3-gunner, who doesn't want a match slot? You know what I mean? So we'll put the links over on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page, and we'll select that winner. Let's see, 2 days from now, I'll post it on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page, and we'll announce it during episode 105, which is next Wednesday at 9. Quick shout out. Just wanted to thank Mike one more time. It was great to hear from you. Rise Armament, Rainier Ballistics. I know me and Dustin have like opposite sponsors of everything. Rainier Ballistics, Dewey Rods, Techwear USA, Brand CLP, and let's do Carbon Arms. All right, we'll do those for today.
How about this discount corner for all of us for flights to SHOT Show? Do you have discounts for that? Hook me up.
That would be awesome.
I know. All right, guys, that'll do it. That'll do it for episode 104. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next Wednesday at 9.